the reviews of Fumetsu no Nade. Fumetsu no Nade are to your eternity is by no means a bad anime. It is a good anime, but I would warn you that the last arc, which is the arc of the Iceland arc, has the abrupt start point and abrupt ending and fast pace, and all in all, shouldn't watch. Like, you don't get anything by in that arc. But overall, Fumetsu no Nade is Artistics is a story about a person that is immortal, traveling land to land. And first episode and last episode is really good. The end is like the first episode, which is the story about boys who can't go about a boy and go on to journey that he will never make it through, which is a really beautiful stuff. That first episode of Fumetsu no Nade all, but like, people would argue that the last arc, the second arc of March and Gugu is bad. It's kind of mediocre, but I think it's not mediocre at all. Even if there is a lot of tropes of, a lot of cliche tropes, but you have to understand that Fumetsu no Nade is set in the world of freedom, like our real world, but in the fantasy world that is, have a lot of freedom. You can do anything. Like, I really love how Fumetsu no Nade having this really artistic touch and this aesthetics, and like how it's telling the story is solid. Like how the characters do one thing. Like, this is now going to the spoiler sections. Like, if the characters spoiler sections of the reviews, and like how the characters did, like Gugu, who is going to, like, how his life. The main point of Gugu, you have to understand, is that Gugu is, going through the, I would say, like, he go through the pathetic life, right? So, like, he have nothing in his life. He's, live life like, since he was kids, he is a rich boy's been, but his father is going with the other girl and abandon them, and Gerald, and he got deceived by his brother, and his fate got crushed. But at last he find the perfect, not perfect, he find happiness in life. He's still live on, and kind of that philosophy and that stuff. And how Gugu is just go from the falling down, crush his head, and it's funny. But like, I really like how Fumetsu no Nade go from point A to point B. It doesn't hesitate. It just go, and go for it, and like, it doesn't hesitate to kill the characters, which is the double-edged sword that we can predict the anime. But like, all in all, and like, at last, it's like the Rara, where every character is connect, Gugu traveling and stuff. I would say Fumetsu no Nade is how show don't tell. Fumetsu no Nade is good. It is depends, I would say. like in the Iceland arc, if you see Fumetsu no Nate in the Iceland arc, there's a lot of the show don't tell, and like we don't understand anything and face his fault. But in the Gugu arc, in the arc of BRGs, like we see a lot of show don't tell and stuff happening, and like we have to think that like I real life one thing that I live about Fumetsu no Nate is that there is philosophy in every direction we looked. Like if we looked at why if we are immortal and we have to go to this kind of stuff, everyone die around you, like you have the tough life, but like everything in Fumetsu no Nate is having the philosophy in itself. Like Pioran, who in the end we see died, but still wanting to help Fushi. But like Pioran like is at an old age, and we all human died and need help, and like Pioran just but Fushi, who is immortal, just doesn't understand that, and the black hood guy say it, and it's just kind of normal reaction of kids and life. And another philosophy that I wanted you to look at is that in the Gugu arc, like even though life has nothing, even though life is fucked, life sucks, like you live a pathetic life, you don't need anything more to be content. It is a cliche, indeed a cliche philosophy, but we see that it is portrayed in all the Gugu arc that the life doesn't need to be that, even if like Reens, whose life living a life like a king and stuff, having in the stone in the cave all her life, cave that call houses all her life, she still, and she doesn't having any happiness. Like she still want to see the world. Like, so it say that Gugu just like see the world and decide for yourself what is right, what is wrong. And like Gugu, who knows everything, what is right, what is wrong, decide for himself, see the world to the fullest, no one forces him, and doesn't want to just live his life with the content, and like he live a happiness life. That's the philosophy of Gugu and Reens that portray in all of the Fumetsu no Nate arc 2. And it is like Platinum End. If you know, Platinum End is anime in this season which the last half contains a lot of the philosophy, a lot of the let's say it contains a lot of the thing that like contains a lot of philosophy debates, contain a lot of what is right, what is wrong about life, and a lot of the political stuff that we tend to think of in daily life, but at last we just don't think about it that deep. But Python have been taken to the next steps and make it a better royal fight about these concepts, with which Fumetsu no Nate is like that. It is a journey that is life about everyone that Fushi knew. Like, I have the idea of the story that friend, like rental friends who being a friend with everyone and travel like Fushi does, but like it shows life of everyone around him and make us think. And it's the same concept of Platinum Ends, but shows in a different way, show in the softer way. Like Platinum Ends shows it in like the rough way, the fight between gods, the fight between in front, one to one, face to face, the fight that like the rough fight, the you know it's really solid fight, and it's astonished how Platinum End does this. And but in Fumetsu no Natae, it's say it like the way softer way than Platinum End does. When Platinum Ends when Fumetsu no Natae say something, it tends to shows us, but don't just like but don't just like aggravating way. It's just like a way that we see in the character's expression and stuff. Like Marsh, philosophy of Marsh. What is philosophy of Marsh, guys? Marsh is a person that who want to be about adults, as opposed to people around her who is just want to live until they die safely. But March, the differences between March and Dan is that March wanted to be adult. March just wanted to, growing, wanted to, do something, and being mom, and being stuff like that. And but at last she died, right? The dream of March doesn't come true. So it is a debate about like life isn't fair. Like, but what we can do to people who we know that life isn't fair, that we just need to remember them and in our heart, and being cautious that life just isn't fair. And Perona just does in his philosophy of her philosophy of Perona is like I don't know, but live the life to the fullest. I think like Perona philosophy is like she lived the life to the fullest, and she think that what is life? Life does mean life, does mean days. If that is life, that is days. Like you live the life to the fullest. You live like she asked that why is that, like what is the meaning of life that dies in days? Like we live the life to die. And this is the philosophy of Perona. Perona doesn't know what is just Perona doesn't think like normal people who's Perona just live the life to the proudest and die with the proudest life. Doesn't like Fushi, doesn't like and like we see that Perona and Marsh is different. Marsh wanted to grow, but Perona just like live life day by day, that like there's no tomorrow. But Marsh live life with a girl that she want to grow, and when she died, everyone just scream. Fushi just, we share of a age. Like even if the dream of March doesn't come true, we still need March in the memory of us. In our heart. Like I'm so glad in the season, like Arc 1 and Arc 2 and Arc 3 of Fumetsu no Natae, which is episode 1 and Arc 2 of March and Arc 3 of Arc 3 of Arc 3 of Gugu. But on that Iceland arc is just such a disappointment. So the score that I will give Fumetsu no Natae, it is hard to what uh I I will give the score for Fumetsu no Natai, but the last score that I will give to Fumetsu no Natai is uh on the screen 710 score. The reason that I give it 710 is because of the fact that it is real, like everyone will say, it is normal as anime, and but I think if that is in the Nightland arc, I would give this anime a 9. But it kind of have unreasonable things. -1 have many two unreasonable plot points, and -2 because the Iceland arc is almost 4 or 7 or probably 8 episode, and it's a waste of time. Like, and there's nothing to be get from Iceland arc. The starting of Iceland arc is just nonsense. Like, Fushi got caught, he could just use, like, he could just get, like, he doesn't have any times to be emotional with the kids that dies. Have to be emotional with Tonari. We just know her backstory and stuff. And I don't know why Fushi just stay, like he want to help the kids or something, but it's just nonsense. Like, I -2 because I am so angry. It is not by no mean. This anime is not by no means mediocre. It is far from mediocre. It is weird. It is artistic. It is aesthetics. Has a good aesthetics. But the animation in the arc of Iceland is quite It's really sloppy, not quite. So I don't want to do this, but I -2 and -1 on reasonable things. I hope you understand. And like 710, it is not normal. It is above average. This score is, if it's normal, I give like 5 or 6, but it is above average, so I give it 710. It is unique. It is like, it is my dream to see anime to settings on the real world and have story in the real world and have story in the not so-called limits way, and finishing on that another day fulfill my dreams. So 7 out of 10.